Hi guys, welcome to Razon.com. This is Mohit Soni and right in front of you is the Kawasaki Ninja 650 BS6 version. Yes, the BS6 version is finally here. It's been updated to meet all emission norms. In the European market, of course, it's going to be called as Euro 5, and Kawasaki has finally revealed a whole host of 650 and other motorcycles in its portfolio to be upgraded to BS6. What you're riding first here is this, and the major changes do include of course the emission upgrade and a bit of cosmetic change along with some technological updates. So let's find out as always and begin with the design part. What you can see is the design which remains the same as the version that came a couple of years ago, and in terms of styling it does now resemble a lot to its older siblings, and that's a good thing and a slightly confusing thing at the same time, because at first glance you're not going to be able to recognize whether this is a Ninja 400 or a 650 or a ZX6R. But you come closer and as you can see, this has got a more angular front end here. The fairing is quintessential Ninja 650. That's how it's been getting the 650. The Ninja 650 has been getting the fairing in a much more boxier way, while it's got a good sharp angle over here. It also continues to get a underbelly exhaust, which is as always seen on this motorcycle, and that is the X-shaped tail lamp. And since you have to sell a motorcycle in the country with a sari guard, this is more like a barbecue grill, and most of people are just going to remove it almost immediately after taking delivery. And the big massive fuel tank here, really impressive. Love the way it's styled out and how you get a key here in typical superbike form. And now let's jump to the meters, because this is the all new part, and as you can see it's got a whole host of features which can be controlled via these two buttons. It cannot be controlled via here. I think that would have been ideal and much more premium, but nevertheless this is the way how it's done in most motorcycles, and so it should be easier for a lot of people to understand. That's the trip, that's the amount of kilometers that we put in till now. We'll be putting in more, and this button here shows you average speed, total time, battery wattage, average fuel efficiency. That's what we're getting, and that's the range along with average speed. That's the time, and you've got a warning tail lights here. Similar switch gear as before. You've got a hazard light button, fast light, adjustable levers on both ends, which is a welcome move. And yeah, that's what the motorcycle is all about in terms of the instrument cluster. And as you can see at the front, it does get LED DRLs, and both the high beams and the low beams are LEDs as well. Let me start up that for you and show it to you. Yeah, that's the exhaust note. As you can hear, we've done a different review, a different video for it, so you can check it out much more in detail, and the 0 to 100 run as well. And now let me talk about the ergonomics part. You sit quite low in this bike, and shorter riders are going to really appreciate this aspect, that even a 5'6" or a 5'8" person can get their feet completely flat on the ground with large boots, and that should make it that always makes it much more accessible. This has been the focus point of the Kawasaki Ninja 650. It's very rider friendly, short rider friendly, but at the same time tall riders or who are above 5'11" and 6, that includes me with riding boots, it kind of now feels a little hemmed in. Well, there is enough legroom on offer with the peg set quite low, and the ground clearance is also quite low. It's not to my liking. I feel like a taller person on this bike, which I'm not entirely exactly a very tall person, but still 6 with boots, and I kind of feel just very comfortable. I can hug the tank really well, but then again it's a personal preference that I don't like this extremely low seat height. I'm used to naked upright sporty naked bikes, so that's the reason why. But 95% of the riders should be able to love this ergonomic design, this low seat height, and the way you can grip the tank. You're literally hugging the bike, you're sitting inside the bike. That feeling is very, very special, and that's what you get in the Kawasaki Ninja 650, and it gets a very a unique set of bars here. They're clip-ons which are raised, and they always give the Kawasaki Ninja 650 a very distinct riding position, wherein you do feel you're riding a sporty motorcycle. Obviously you're sitting low, you're gripping the tank, and the handlebars make it a slight amount of reach, so that makes you feel like you're riding something premium, something sporty. At the same time, you're really comfortable. We just did a Bombay Pune run and back, and as always, we've ridden the previous version BS3 and the BS4 some time back, and we find absolutely no difference. It's an extremely comfortable motorcycle. It's one of those motorcycles which is worthy of taking on a nation tour, world tours, things like that. It's that comfortable for most riders, and you can obviously opt for a taller seat height if you can at the accessory part of the motorcycle showroom, and you will be quite happy with the kind of comfort this can offer. It's got a very good wind protection as well for the rider, but then again, for me, like I said, with my height, it throws all the dust and directly into my face. If I have the the helmet windshield above for some air circulation, it just throws the dirt directly inside, and I think the reason why I'm used to naked bikes is the reason why I've been able to notice this fact. And yeah, now let's discuss the riding, the more important riding engine and all of that. And what you now get is what you always got is a 650cc motor making 70 PS of power, 62 Newton meters of torque, and it's a very smooth motor, it's a very relaxed motor, it's a very stress-free motor. At the same time, it's very linear, the throttle response is excellent, it's very direct, and all of this makes it riding in the city an absolute breeze. Because, and as you heard in the exhaust note video and 0 to 100 plus video, it sounds really amazing. It sounds talky, at the same time it's very smooth, and it's got that rumble effect. It just feels like a extremely scaled down jet fighter with which is basically a motorcycle at the end of the day. And the exhaust note, as always, is lovely from Kawasaki. It's a real joy to hear this old school exhaust note still exists in this highly emission controlled motorcycle and vehicle world. And we always look forward to that, and even this time with the BS6 update, obviously from the BS3 to the BS4 to the BS6, there has been a substantial. Now, since we were discussing the city riding situation, I like to tell you about the more about the open and closed throttle situation as well. Well, it does feel, when you close the throttle, it does feel jerky. The open and closed throttle, when it happens, and we do that quite often in the city, you do feel there is a bit of jerkiness. The low end fueling isn't that precise because because I'm a heavy rider, and with the current suspension setup as well, it feels soft. So the open and closed throttle is making riding in the city a little bit, if you notice very carefully, a bit jerky, and I think Kawasaki should have cleared that fueling aspect in this BS6 bike. But I think it has been there in the past as well. If I remember correctly, it's been substantially low than before, and that makes this much better than the previous versions that we've been riding. In terms of performance, well, this motor is known for its very excellent all-round capabilities. It's got a good amount of low end as well as mid-range power. At the same time, the top end is also quite good, obviously not great as 4-cylinder motors which are geared in a very specific way to give you more top end power, but here this can cruise at 130, 140 all day long, and it can be stress free for most of the time. It depends on rider to rider when that happens. But like I said, riding in the city is almost a breeze. Performance, low end and mid range is fantastic. Top end is also very impressive. It's got a genuine 200 km/h top speed, and the even more impressive part is the fuel efficiency. Like I showed you when I was showing you the meters, it can deliver 21-22 kilometers per liter as an average, and while riding under 120 km/h in city and highway situations, if you maintain that speed on a longer ride on a longer highway, you can expect this this motorcycle to deliver 25 kilometers per liter on the highway, and I think that is fantastic. And as always, very brilliant. With the BS6 version, it's gotten even more impressive. That's what the Kawasaki Ninja 650 was known for, and now it continues with that tradition even in the BS6 avatar. I keep saying that because there is a bit of expectation when things happen in BS6. There is a bit of compromise here. The exhaust note, the character of the engine, the performance, the fuel efficiency is pretty much retained. There's no big drastic change, and that's what makes the Kawasaki Ninja 650 a very impressive bike in the engine department. When it comes to handling, like I said earlier, I'm a heavy rider, so I find the suspension on the softer side. If I bump up the preload, it will definitely feel a lot more better. There will be a bit less nosedive, and the ride quality will be stiffened, but then again, and it will feel much better on the twisties. Right now also, when on our riding roads and conditions that we have right now, it is pretty much good for a heavier rider like me, but on a racetrack I would definitely need to up the preload with a slight compromise on ride quality if I were to do it for the road as well. And it would be not a big problem for me, because the change that I get in the way the motorcycle rides will be well rewarding. And like I said, I told you about the fuel efficiency part, I told you about the ergonomics, I told you about the riding dynamics. Let's talk about the brakes and tires. Well, I'm not been a fan of the tires that usually Japanese motorcycle manufacturers end up giving. This time though, it's been a bit of change, and we're still getting Dunlop tires. There's a 160 section at the back and a 120 section at the front, and yeah, it's good. It's much better than before that we've been used to, but still I would recommend a tire swap to a Pirelli or something like that, Michelin. That would make things even more fun to ride in that aspect, and you can expect them to deliver similar or slightly more tire life as well. In terms of braking, it's got a good bite. It could have been better, but then sport tourers, this is what they're all about. You can't expect a very dramatic front lever bite, but the stopping power is more than enough. You've got dual disc at the front and single disc at the back, which provides you with ample stopping power. You can be doing triple digit speeds, and you can come to a halt very easily, very quickly. Although in this current form, with my weight and suspension setup on this bike, on emergency braking, I did feel a slight amount of slippage at the back, but I think that would be solved if I up the preload. The lights, they're pretty good. The illumination, I expected them to be a bit more, but the spread is very impressive. On a dark highway run, I found the lights to be very impressive, and at the back, who was riding with me also said the tail lamps are very impressive, and they brighten up the road at the back as well. So I think in that aspect, you are covered, you are visible on this bike, and that's what makes it a fantastic adventure, a sport touring machine for the road. You can do the golden quadrilateral run here in India, and you could come back home quite comfortably back again, and if you would like to do it again, it feels that kind of a motorcycle. It feels very accomplished as a sport touring machine. It's very comfortable, the riding position, and since the 650, as we all know, is known for bulletproof reliability, and the way it feels at the same time just makes it a very impressive package to own, even in today's time where getting motorcycles also which are which lack character to a certain extent. I think the Ninja 650 and the 650 range show that it can be done without compromise. Of course, you do pay a slightly higher price for that, and even for the 650s, the pricing has increased by 10 to 20,000 rupees, but I think it's well worth it. It's not that expensive. It obviously is not that cheap as when it came earlier in the market in the first few days, but then again, with the upgrades, with the design, getting a design which is pretty much similar to its elder siblings makes it a great package to own. I think that is it. Thank you so much for watching our video. Make sure you like, still have some comments, put it in the comment section below. Subscribe to our channel and follow us on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook. Again, thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.